In that day of the conference. Oh, they got magnets now.
Yeah.
For sure. So you'll be down here.
So I don't know how we're going to place that.
That one's actually.
So I can just, I can just look on this one. But
Yeah. Is testing, testing.
you are amazing. I don't know how you
I don't know how everybody does their full-time job and all of this too. I have no idea. I have no idea. You guys are amazing.
All right.
Go.
Some weeks are easier than others for me. So, this wasn't one of the easy ones, but that's okay.
Sorry.
I know, it's
So,
fine.
when we're leaving, we can take these off.
Okay, so
I'll be constantly pulling it on and off. Yeah. These are huge. Yes.
what I'll do is get an easier one.
Okay. Welcome and Shana Tova, Good Yantiv, a Happy New Year. I'm Rabbi Gila Langner, and I'm just delighted to be with you this morning with Joan Goldfarb and our Hazan, Jim North, and our amazing Kol Amites band. Jim and Jason Wright direct our ensemble, and we are thrilled to be back in person with our wonderful musicians lifting our spirits. And what a blessing to be in this sanctuary again. Many thanks to Cameron McGee, who's going to do our audio today, to Annie Parker from the UUCA, and to Cor Medrick, who is producing our live stream, to our coordinator, Amy Medrick, who is downstairs with the children's services led by Carol Boyd Leon. And we've got the little ones at the 10 o'clock hour and the older kids at 11 o'clock. So all of that is if anybody wants to go down and take a look, feel free to do so. As you'll see, we're gratified to have a lot of participation from our members this morning. High Holidays at Kol Ami really takes a village, and that's part of our DIY philosophy, do-it-yourself Judaism. So if you're a member, a relative, an out-of-towner, or recently moved to town, if you're here with us in the room or on our live stream, if you're religious, atheist, somewhere in between, we welcome you to spend Rosh Hashanah morning with us, to dip into the honey of our tradition and take some personal time to reflect on this past year and what's ahead this coming year. Feel free to sit back and watch, or to sing and read and dance if it comes to that. And give yourself some moments to tune us out, to turn inward, and see what is arising in your own heart. It doesn't matter if you don't know Hebrew, if you don't believe in God, if you're not religious, you're here, and that's all that matters. You should have a Machzor, the High Holiday Prayer Book, in your hands if you're in the room. If you're live streaming, you might have the link from the email that Amy sent out, or go to our website, kolamivirginia.org, click on worship, click on prayer books, click on the High Holiday Machzor, and you'll have access to the electronic version. And don't worry, we're not going through the entire 1,200 pages this morning. For those of you who have not been here before, the church's policy is to require masks be worn unless you are leading the service or singing in the Kolamites. That's a tough penalty, in my opinion, but if you want to come up here and lead, by all means, you can take your mask off. But seriously, if you need a mask break, feel free to head outside, either to the front or the back patio, and you'll see that restrooms are off to your right. And now let me turn things over to my co-leader, Joan Goldfarb, who works at the Department of the Interior by day and in her spare time, which she doesn't have much of, but she has done almost everything at Kol Ami, including teaching in our Hebrew school, reading Torah, leading services, and in so many ways, knitting our community close together, along with her amazing family, Gordon Achterman, and their kids, Jerry and Tess Achterman.
Thank you, Rabbi Gila. I am overjoyed and deeply honored to be leading the service for Rosh Hashanah this morning. And I share in welcoming everybody. And to me, today feels like an awakening, and I'm greeting the dawn. Not only is it the beginning of a new year, but it is also 3 years since the last time that we were able to get together at the UU to celebrate the High Holy Days. Most mornings, I feel excited about the possibilities for the day and determined to do whatever I can to make the world better. Today, I feel that even more so. To mark this moment, here's a poem called School Prayer by Diane Ackerman. In the name of the daybreak and the eyelids of morning and the wayfaring moon and the night when it departs, I swear I will not dishonor my soul with hatred, but offer myself humbly as a guardian of nature, as a healer of misery, as a messenger of wonder, as an architect of peace. In the name of the sun and its mirrors, and the day that embraces it, and the cloud veils drawn over it, and the uttermost night, and the male and the female, and the plants bursting with seed, and the crowning seasons of the firefly and the apple, I will honor all life, wherever and whatever, and in whatever form it may dwell on earth, my home, and in the mansions of the stars. We begin with Ma Tovu on page 140. How beautiful are your tents, O Jacob! How fine your dwellings, Yisrael!
Tovu Ohalecha Yaakov, but then we'll repeat it with Ohalaich Sarah Mishpanatai. So join us. Or Yai always works. Tovu Ohalecha Yaakov, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishpanatecha Israel. Ohalai Sarah, Ohalai Sarah, Mishkenotai, Ani, Pero, Chasecha, Kono, Vete, Ohalai Sarah, Ohalai Sarah, Mishkenotai,
Page 159 and 160. We just want to introduce this just for a moment. The famous words from the Torah, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. And I know we don't have a transliteration, but the words are ve'ahavta, the main words are ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Let's try it. Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. And after all, this is really what the high holidays are about, is to opening our hearts to love our neighbors, love ourselves, love our neighbors, love the wider world as much as we can extend our hearts. Here we go.
L'Hashem yichu, u'tshabrichu shchitei, hineni mukhan u'mezuman, לקבל עליי מצוות תעשה, ואהבת לרעך, לרעך כמוך, ואהבת לרעך, לרעך כמוך. ובזכות זה אפתח, ובזכות זה אפתח בי, ובזכות זה אפתח, ובזכות זה אפתח בי. איי די די, איי די די, איי די די, איי די די,
We continue with a hymn to God's creation of the world, Baruch She'amar, on page 194. You may recognize the melody. Please rise in body or spirit.
Baruch She'amar v'haya ha'olam, Baruch Oseh v'reshit, Baruch Omer v'oseh, Baruch Gozeh v'chayeh, Baruch v'rachem al haaretz, Baruch v'rachem al habriyot, Baruch v'shalem Sacharto v'lecha v'tov v'lecha, Baruch ba'aviv avela u'me'eni ora, Baruch chaylav v'kayam v'netzach, Baruch v'matzil. In English, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Please be seated. Let's turn to page 262 for Psalm 150. I think we have most of the instruments mentioned in this psalm. Maybe not the harp, but we're pretty good on everything else. Here we go.
Hallelujah, Bekocho. Hallelujah, Birkia Uzo. Hallelujah, Bigorota. Hallelujah, Kerov, good Lord. Hallelujah, take a shofar. Hallelujah, 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 betov u'machol, hallelujah, b'nibei hallelujah, b'tziltzei Shama. Hallelujah, b'tziltzei Truah, kol hanshama tehaleya, kol hanshama tehaleya. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Page 264. Nishmat kol chai tevarech et shimcha Adonai Eloheinu. The soul of every living thing shall bless your name. This paean to God in the natural world will bring us to the end of our warm-up prayers and the beginning of the formal service. I invite you to sit with that opening line of Nishmat for a few moments. The soul of every living thing shall bless your name. What comes to mind? What experiences of nature or creation, maybe from this past year, does it evoke? Robin Wall Kimmerer, in her remarkable book, Braiding Sweetgrass, notes that we humans are not just disinterested observers of nature. What we should be thinking about instead is reciprocity. She writes, paying attention is a form of reciprocity with the living world, receiving the gifts with open eyes and open heart. As we work to heal the earth heals us. So bring the soul of every living thing into your consciousness for the next moment or two, or maybe one particular living thing, or one particular place in nature that has helped you heal this past year. We'll take 2 moments to sit. Page 270. Hamelech Yoshev al kisei raham v'nisan שוכנת מרום וקדוש שמו וכתוב לנו צדיקים באדוני לישרים נאווה תהילה בפי ישרים תתרומם ובדברי צדיקים תתברך ובלשון חסידים תתקדש ובקרב קדושים תתהלל. We're skipping to the Chatzi Kaddish on page 276. יגדל ויקדש שמי רבה בעלמא דברה חירותה וימליך מלכותה בחייכון ובימיכון ובחייך בית ישראל מעגלה ובזמן קריב והימרו אמן. יש מרבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לילה לילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמא ואמרו Amen.
As we rise in body or spirit to recite the Barhu on page 278, please join the Kolamites in a melody by contemporary composer Noah Aronson.
We'll start with a few united eyes. את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד, לעולם ועד.
Please be seated. We continue with blessing all of life's offerings, the easy and the challenging, the totality of all that exists that we can rarely wrap our minds around. This is a melody on page 280 that our member Nate Wright composed before he left for college.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Yotzei or uvorei choshech osei shalom uvorei et haTov. Again. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Yotzei or uvorei choshech osei shalom uvorei et haTov. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Yotzei or uvorei choshech osei shalom uvorei et haTov.
So this section of the liturgy called the Yotzer section, the creating section, it contains a whole slew of poems on the dazzling nature of creation and the creator. But more and more, we look around at the chaos caused by the climate crisis, and I wonder how we can say these words, almost pretending that the world is in good shape. Any thoughts?
To me, it's that very contrast that's so much the wake-up call. The liturgy talks about the wonder and the beauty of what the Creator gave to us, not about what we have done with it. What have we done with the world? We only have to look around to see that we haven't taken very good care of it. And as with any gift, when we realize and really internalize how precious it is, how difficult it would be to replace the effort, intention, and intentions behind that gift, it's at that point that we feel compelled to put in the effort to protecting that gift.
So there's a whole lot of epithets for God on page 297. God as the enactor of mighty deeds and the creator of healing, the source of wonder. And the one that resonates for me is Matzmiach Yeshuot, the notion of God as the grower of salvations, plural salvations. I like the idea that our future rests on multiple forms of salvation, and that all of them need to be seeded and grown and nurtured.
I like that epithet too, and for me it highlights a common thread that most of the epithets share. Although human beings were part of creation's work, to which the reading points, human beings also have the capabilities to enable us to contribute to creation's work too. We can enact mighty deeds, fashion new things, and tap into the righteousness in our hearts. And we can seed, grow, and nurture salvation. It's probably going to be necessary for us to do all of these things to help address the climate crisis. Here is a sonnet by Alice Moore Dunbar Nelson, an African-American poet and journalist who lived from 1875 to 1935. It seems like a perfect bridge between the Yod-Tzar section on creation and the next part of the liturgy, which turns toward love. Sonnet. I had no thoughts of violets of late, the wild, shy kind that spring beneath your feet, in wistful April days when lovers mate and wander through the fields in raptures sweet. The thought of violets meant florists' shops, and bows and pins and perfumed papers fine, and garish lights and mincing little hops, and cabarets and songs and deadening wine. So far from sweet, real things my thoughts had strayed, I had forgotten wild fields and clear brown streams, the perfect loveliness that God had made, wild violets, shy and heaven-mounting dreams. And now, unwittingly, you've made me dream of violets and my soul's forgotten gleam. And so let a new light shine upon Zion and all the world, or Hadash on page 298.
For Hadash al Zion Tayim, for Hadash al Zion Tayim. Benizke kulanu, benizke kulanu, bimera leoro. Benizke kulanu, benizke kulanu, bimera leoro. I'll see your time. Oh, God, I'll see your time. Benizke kulanu, bimera leoro. Benizke kulanu, benizke kulanu, bimera leoro.
For Jews, traditionally, the Torah was the sign of God's love. For us, we might also want to take a moment to picture those whom we love in our mind's eye, or maybe next to us, those who have taught us to love. And meanwhile, while you're doing that, I'm going to invite some of our kids, if they're here, who are more or less B-mitzvah age, to come up to the floor mic to help us chant the Shema. We're on page 300, the blessing leading up to the Shema. The first three words we'll be chanting, Ahava Rabbah Ahavtanu. We are loved with a great love.
Rabbah, Rabba, Avdanu, Ahava Rabba, Avdanu, Ahava Rabba, Avdanu. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love.
Page 302.
V'havienu leshalom me'avakam tot haaretz v'tolichenu komemiyut le'atzeinu. ישועתה וקרבתנו לשמך הגדול, לשמך הגדול, סלע באמת, סלע באמת. להודות לך ויחדך ויחדך באהבה. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל וכל יושבי תבל. Page 304, deep breath, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Adonai Eloheinu ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך בכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננת על לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לבטחות בעיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. Thank you, Daniela and Eva and Hannah and Abe. Adonai Elohechem. And let me invite up Zach and Nora. At the beginning of Elul, just 1 month ago, some of us gathered to begin preparing spiritually for the high holiday season. And we did a writing exercise on the theme for our holiday. We fall down, we get back up. Here is Ruth Ann Faust's piece, read by Dr. Zach Schrag and Nora Schrag.
So many challenges.
Face them.
So much hurt.
Care for them.
So much confusion.
Love them.
So much longing.
Open to them.
So much loss.
Cry about them.
So much darkness.
Reveal them.
So much effort.
Slow down. Do less. Get more rest.
The water's too high.
Go for a swim.
The day is too long.
Stop. Take a break. Take a nap.
There's too much pain.
Be open to moments of ease and grace.
I can't get up by myself.
Ask for help.
So depressing.
Be open to possibilities. So many problems. So many solutions.
There's redemption. Thank you. We're on page 318 for Micha Mocha. Adonai Loch Leolam Vahed to Yisrael, Koma B'Yesrat Yisrael, Uvdech Inamecha, Yehuda B'Yisrael, Go Aleinu Adonai Tzvahot Shemo, Ketosh Yisrael, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ga Yisrael. We've arrived at the Amidah, which begins on page 324, and I invite up our ARC openers, Nathan Brown and Julie Corwin.
The Amidah is the point in the service at which we get to have our one-on-one time with God, however each of us understands God. I love that feeling of letting the world shed away and putting a spotlight on that which is bigger than everyday life. And yet I find it so difficult to do, as captured very well by Marie Howe, a former New York State Poet Laureate, in her poem, Prayer. Every day I want to speak with you, and every day something more important calls for my attention: the drugstore, the beauty products, the luggage I need to buy for the trip. Even now I can hardly sit here among the falling piles of paper and clothing, the garbage trucks outside already screeching and banging. The mystics say you are as close as my own breath. Why do I flee from you? My days and nights pour through me like complaints and become a story I forgot to tell. Help me, even as I write these words I am planning to rise from the chair as soon as I finish this sentence.
Okay, then please rise in spirit or body. Page 324. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'anora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim, טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה. We move to the top of 328. זוכרנו לחיים, מלך חפץ בחיים. זוכרנו לחיים, מלך חפץ בחיים. והודנו בספר החיים, למען האלוהים חיים, למען האלוהים חיים. והודנו בספר החיים, למען האלוהים חיים, למען האלוהים חיים. Baruch atah Adonai, Magid Avraham Bezrat Sarah.
Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Rav Lehoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechakel Chayim Bechesed, Mechaye Kol Chai Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Berofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato Lishnei Yafar Michamocha Magevurot Umitamelach Melech Meimit Umechayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua.
Michamocha Varachamim Zocher Yesura Lechayim Berachamim Ve'lemanat Alachayot Kochai Baruch atah Adonai Mechaye Kol Chai. Amen. We turn to page 348 for the great 11th century poem Unetanet Tokef, which asks us to think about our deeds this past year and our vulnerabilities in the coming year. With what actions did we inscribe our names in the great metaphoric book of life? What are we known for in our corner of the world? what happens when we allow ourselves to feel our inherent vulnerability and the tenuousness of life itself. I invite our Kolamites to be seated good, as well as anyone else who is finding it hard to stand. The ark will be opened to our memories and our prayers. Nathan and Julie, please do the honors. Page 347 and 348. Unetane tokev kiddushat hayom ki hu nora v'hayom. Now we declare the sacred power of this day, which is the most awesome and solemn of days. You alone can remember what we have forgotten. It is you who shall open the book of remembrance, but its contents shall speak for themselves, for it bears the imprint of us all, which our deeds and our lives have inscribed. ובשופר גדול ייתקע, and when the great shofar is sounded, a small quiet voice can be heard. וקול דממה דקה יישמע. הנה Yom Hadin. Behold, the day of judgment has arrived. Page 350, second paragraph.
Rosh Hashanah yikatevu Yom Tzom Kippur yechatevu Rosh Hashanah yikatevu Yom Tzom Kippur Kama yavrun v'chama yipareun, mi yichye u'mi yamut. How many pass on, how many shall thrive? Who shall live on and who shall die? Mi v'kitzo, mi lo v'kitzo. Whose death is timely and whose is not? Mi v'hesh, mi v'mayim, who by fire and who by water. Rosh Hashanah yikatevu Yom Tzom Kippur yechatevu Rosh Hashanah yikatevu Yom Tzom Kippur yechatevu.
All together at the top of page 352. Uteshuva, utefila, utetaka, mavirin et ro'ah gezerah. Uteshuva,
Turning inward to face oneself,
utefila,
entering into prayer and contemplation,
utzedakah,
giving to the needy as justice requires.
mavirin et ro'ah gezerah.
These diminish the harshness of the decree.
V'atahu melech el chai v'kayam. The ark is closed, but if you're able, please remain standing for the Kedusha on page 356, 5 lines down. Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzebaot, Melech kol haaretz kivosho. Skip a couple lines. Baruch kivod Adonai mimkomo. And at the bottom of the page, Shema Yisrael. Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Page 358, 5 lines from the bottom. ובדברי קודשך כתוב לאמור, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור, הללויה. Ledor vador, ledor vador, ledor vador, nagid God lecha. Ulenetzach netzachim, ulenetzach netzachim, kedushat ha'adim.
Ledor vador, ledor vador, ledor vador, nagid God lecha. ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושת God נקדיש. בשמחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא יבוש לעולם ועד.
כל ישראל, כל יושבים Yasher Koach to our Kolamas, to Chazan Jim, Margie Jervis, Sarah Baumgarten on guitar and vocals, Lucy Greco and Michael Starrin on clarinet, and Larry Strag on bass clarinet, Robin Cook on percussion and vocals, Emily Toll on cello, and just back last night from South Africa, Amy Baumgarten on cello as well, Jonathan Baumgarten on flute and piccolo, Ray Greco on tenor saxophone, yes, and Aaron Bueno de Mesquita and Jason Wright on French horn. Did I get everyone? Yeah, all right. Double thanks to Jason who arranges all of our music. Woo! Yeah! So everyone take a deep breath, say Shana Tova to the person next to you, and in 1 minute, we'll begin the Torah service.
I was being very loud because Jason told us before to be very loud, so I hope I wasn't too loud.
No, you were perfect.
Okay. So, that's a nice arrangement, yeah. Thank you so much.
We'll play it for you.
I knew that morning coffee was a mistake. Okay. We begin the Torah service on page 464. Let me invite up our new members, Rabbi Julie Gordon and Jeremy Epstein, to open the ark. En kamocha Elohim Adonai ve'en kemaasecha Malchutecha malchut kol olamim umemshaltecha bechol dor vador Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai himlov leolam vaed Adonai oz le'amo yiteh Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. Please rise in spirit or body as the ark is opened. We continue on 468.
Adonai, Adonai,
El Rachum Vechanun, Erech Hayim, Verav Chesed Ve'emet, Noteh Chesed Lahalafim, Nosei Avon Vafesha, V'chatav V'nahakeh, V'ani Tefilati Lecha Adonai Et Ratzon Elohim berov chastecha Aneni, Aneni behemet yishecha. Yes. Page 470.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh v'norah Shemo.
Elohim, Gadol Adonenu,
Kadosh v'norah
Gadol Adonai, Unerome Shemo Yavda.
the Torah is carried around the congregation, please feel free but not required to kiss the Torah as a sign of love and respect using your prayer book like so. Here we go. Sorry, middle of the room, we forgot you. But there's no way to get everyone. It's really. All right. So, at Kol Ami, we alternate our Torah readings for Rosh Hashanah between the two traditional stories of Abraham and the story of creation. This year we're going to read the traditional second day Torah reading, Genesis 22, the Akedah, the binding of Isaac as it's known. It is quite simply a horrific story. As you will hear it unfold, it is the tale of Abraham hearing the voice of God, instructing him to take his son, his only son, the son that he loves, to a mountain and there sacrifice him as a burnt offering. Our ancestors found much that was laudable in this story. Abraham's willingness to hear God's word with a simple response, Hineni, I'm here. Abraham's obedience, even in the face of a monstrous request such as this. The ram in the story that became the substitute sacrifice serving as a perpetual reminder to God in the form of the ram's horn, the shofar, of our ancestors' merit and obedience. And the all-important teaching, in the end, that God does not want the sacrifice of children, that this new religion being created would be different from the ones in neighboring cultures. But in our modern world, in the shadow of the Holocaust, where we lost 1 million children, we approach the story with a measure of revulsion. We question why Abraham, who famously argued on behalf of perfect strangers, could not muster up the energy to dissuade God from this dreadful request. We question what kind of God would make such a request and why. If this was a test, our rabbis wondered whether Abraham passed the test or failed, whether God ever meant for him to kill his child. All of that is the customary analysis. More has been written about the Akedah story than any other biblical passage. But this year, one image from the story stayed in my mind as much as I sought to get past it. That's the image of Isaac trudging side by side with his father Abraham on a 3-day journey to his possible death. Isaac takes note of the split wood he is carrying and the firestone and the knife that his father is carrying. And he says, "Father, where is the sheep for the burnt offering? Ayeh haseh la'olah." In other words, what is the offering? What? Who is the sacrifice? Isaac carries this burden of uncertainty as much as he does the split wood. More than uncertainty, a kind of unfathomability, a confusion as to what is going on in his world. His father replies, "God will provide the sacrifice, my son." Does that allay his concern, his confusion? We don't know. Somehow, as I pondered this, I thought of all the kids in our country heading off to school each morning of the school year. Some of them wondering, is this the day, is this the week that my school will come under attack? That my life or the life of my friends and classmates and teachers will be sacrificed? Will it happen today, tomorrow? So unfairly, these questions, this insecurity and bewilderment have become our school children's burdens. It is a uniquely American burden. American children account for the vast majority of firearm deaths among children worldwide. A study of 29 countries in the US and Europe found that the US accounted for over 90% of deaths among children under 15. And the threats have become ever more real. In the last 2 years, gun violence has become the #1 cause of death for US children and adolescents. Mass shootings at schools have been widely publicized, but those terrifying deaths represent only 1% of the thousands of children killed each year by guns in this country. Children are at risk from guns in the home, guns left unprotected, 400 million guns in this gun-soaked, blood-drenched country. And our feeble attempts at protecting children by subjecting them to active shooter drills in schools is making things even worse. Levels of anxiety and depression soar after every drill among children and teachers alike. Even back in 2015, 95% of public schools were drilling their students on lockdown procedures, even though there was almost no research showing the value of the drills for protecting children in the event a shooting did occur. I can only hope that number has come down. I know I'm preaching to the choir. We all share the horror of what is going on. Many of you have supported anti-gun violence measures, anti-gun organizations, etc. And in the wake of Uvalde, there has been at last a first legislative step towards sanity on guns, a few measures to curb the worst excesses. I have no magic wand to change the laws of this country, let alone the culture that considers this state of affairs acceptable. But I want us to read the Akedah story this morning so as to raise that question. Isn't child sacrifice unacceptable? Do we mean that or not? How long can we allow our children to be traumatized each time a shooting takes place? How long do we allow them to live in fear of what will happen at their school? A place that is supposed to be safe, supposed to be keeping them safe. Our rabbis of old wrote alternate endings for the story of the Akedah. Perhaps they found it hard to believe, as we do, that everyone went home happily ever after, the end. The rabbis noted that the Torah doesn't mention Isaac returning from the mountain with his father. Instead, some medieval rabbis imagined Isaac's ashes heaped up on the mountain, a chilling hint that perhaps the angel did not arrive in time. Perhaps Isaac really was sacrificed. Another rabbinic story of Midrash imagines Sarah hearing the news of what Abraham sought to do, imagines the shock she experienced that her own husband would be involved in such a thing, imagines her shrieking like the broken sounds of the shofar, and then her heart giving way. In this telling, the binding of Isaac turns into a sacrifice of Isaac's mother. Down to our time, the shofar echoes with her dying screams. As we read the ancient story, absorbing its power and arguing with the text simultaneously, let us insist on hearing the voice of a life-giving, life-affirming God, however the text appears. Let us bear witness to the sacrifices that are still occurring in our own country, in our own time. And let us say, Hineni, as we redouble our efforts to steer our country away from burdening and even sacrificing the next generation of our children. Our Torah reading begins on page 504 of the prayer book. Our reader will be Ann Salzberg, who also coordinates our Torah reading on high holidays and during the year. Thank you, Ann. For this Aliyah, we'd like to call up all those chairs of committees at Kol Ami, or their backups, who have said Hineni to our appeals for help. Raina Aylward at Care and Concern, Inc., and Tony Popkin, if you're watching on the live stream, Jane Petkovsky from Ritual Committee, John Robert Johnson representing Adult Education, Maddie Cohen representing Tikkun Olam, and Gordon Achterman and Jonathan Baumgarten from Security. Meet me down there. Ya'amdu kol roshei hava'adot, all our committee chairs, la'aliyah rishonah. Okay, we're going to do air kisses this time. So here we go. We touch. Okay, go for it. Baruch Hu Adonai HaMorah, Baruch Adonai HaMorah, Baruch Adonai HaMorah, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher tiranu lavotatu, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah. Amen.
Amen. ויהי אחר הדברים האלה, והאלוהים נישא את אברהם, ויאמר אליו אברהם, ויאמר הנני, ויאמר כך נא את בנך את יחידך אשר אהבת את יצחק, ולך לך אל ארץ המוריה, והעלהו שם לעול אחר ההרים אשר אומר אליך. וישכם אברהם בבוקר, ויחבוש את חמורו, ויקח את שני נעריו איתו ואת יצחק בנו, ויבקע עצי עולה, ויקום וילך אל המקום אשר אמר לו האלוהים.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah v'emet, v'chayei olam atah b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. So our committees are really like the lifeblood of Kol Ami and all the work that you do all year and the time you give. You and the members of all of our committees, really, we are so inspired and grateful. May you go from strength to strength and just continue spending so much time and effort in the community's behalf, because it is so greatly appreciated and does so much good. Thank you. Yasher Koach. All right, number 2. Let's have Jane stay. Everybody else can either stay or go back to your seat as you wish.
So I will be laning the second aliyah, in which Abraham and Isaac walked together towards the place where Abraham is supposed to sacrifice Isaac. As I learned these verses, I couldn't help but feel how much pain Abraham must have been carrying for every second of this journey, and how lovingly the two spoke to each other as they walked. I and other parents who walk or drive our children to school, praying that they will return safely, feel that pain. So for this aliyah, we would like to call up all parents who take or send their children to school. Yamdu, parents who send off kids to school for the second aliyah.
Around age 505 and 506.
And also, okay, I will chant in English each verse before I chant it in Hebrew. So.
One, two.
Baruch Adonai HaBarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Amen. On the third day, on the third day, and Abraham lifted up his eyes, and he saw the place from afar. ביום השלישי וישא אברהם את עיניו וירא את המקום מרחוק. And Abraham said to his young men, you stay here with the donkey, and I and the boy will go up to there, and will prostrate ourselves and return to you. Vayomer Avraham El Na'arav Shvu lachem po im hachamor va'ani v'hanar ne'elchu ad ko v'nishtachaveh v'nashuva alechem. And Abraham picked up the wood for the sacrifice, and he placed it on Isaac his son, and he took into his hand the fire and the knife, and the two of them walked on together. Vayikach Avraham et atzei ha'olam vayasem al Yitzchak beno vayikach biyado et ha'esh ve'et ha'ma'achelet vayelchu shnehem yachdav. And Isaac spoke to Abraham his father, and he said, my father. And he said, I'm here, my son. And he said, here is the fire and the wood, and where is the lamb to sacrifice? Vayomer Yitzchak el Avraham aviv, Vayomer avi, Vayomer hineni beni, Vayomer hinei ha'esh והעצה ואהיה השה לעולם. And Abraham said, God will see to the lamb for the sacrifice, my son. And the two of them walked on together. Vayomer Avraham Elohim Yir Elo Haseh Le'olah v'ni Vayelchu shnehem yachdav.
Everyone. 1, 2, 3.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah te'emet v'arei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Yasher Kohan.
May your prayers be for the safety of your children always be answered. May our leaders enact wise and effective gun laws to protect our children. And may school always be a source of joy, learning, friendship, and growth for you and your families.
Amen. Now that we've traumatized our parents, let's
Thank you.
Our third Aliyah starts on pages 507 and 508 and will be read once again by Ann Salzberg. This is a dramatic moment when the angel arrived, just in time to stop Abraham, calling his name Abraham, Abraham, to which Abraham replies a second time, Hineni, I'm here. So this Hineni is an opening for gentleness, for not harming our children, but caring for them and enriching our lives, their lives. And who does that more than our educators in general, but specifically our educators at Kol Ami, who give of themselves each year to teach our community's children. We have a school that is taught by our parents, our lay leaders who have created a Hebrew school we call JSEP of enormous gentleness and caring. Ya'amdu kol hamorim, all of our teachers, la'aliyah shlishit. I don't know if Liz is here, but Andrew Keller, but I see Jason is here, Steve Pershing, Rabbi Richard Ruth, Ruth Ann Faust cannot be here, and our coordinators, John Starren and Shanna Harbor, if you're here. I know they've been, oh, good. Okay, they've been downstairs a lot. So come on up for this Aliyah, please. One, two.
Baruch et Adonai Haborah.
Baruch atah Baruch leolam vaed.
Baruch Adonai Haborah Leolam Vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher kirvanu la'avodato v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Torah.
Amen. Vayavo el hamakom asher amar lo haElohim vayiven sham Avraham et hamizbeach vayaroch et ha'etzim vayakut et Yitzchak beno vayasem oto al hamizbeach mima'al ha'etzim. וישלח אברהם את ידו ויקח את המאכלת לסחוט את בנו. ויקרא אליו מלאך אדוני מן השמיים ויאמר אברהם ויאמר הנני. ויאמר אל תשלח ידך אל הנער ואל תעש לו מאומה כי אתה ידעתי כי ירא אלוהים אתה ולא חשכת את בנך את יחידך ממני. וישא אברהם את עיניו וירא והנה האל נאחז בסבך בקרניו. וילך אברהם ויקח את האיל ויעלהו לעולה תחת בנו. ויקרא אברהם שם המקום ההוא אדוני יראה אשר יאמר היום בהר אדוני יראה. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu et torat emet וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. Yasha Koach, and let me include Joe Gohart in that group. One of our teachers as well.
May you all continue to be inspired to find gentle, meaningful ways to teach our children about what it means to be Jewish, and to have the strength and flexibility to explore that inspiration in the classroom. And may you feel abundant rewards from saying Hinenu, from the smiling and eager faces of the children you teach to the gratitude of Kol Ami and the entire Jewish community.
Amen. Amen. Yasha Koach. Beautiful. We are at the fourth Aliyah on page 510, and Miriam Cook will be reading for us. This part of our text speaks about a blessing that carries on into the future, and one of the lasting joys in our community is the music that our Kolamites bring. I sometimes think that if anything carries on 1,000 years from now, it will be the joy of music and musical worship that has always been part of our tradition. Ya'amdu kol hamuzikaim. I looked that up. La'aliyah revi'im. Come on up, Kolamites.
Richard, can you want to? Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Kisses. 1, 2, 3. Baruch et Adonai. Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kivanu la'avodato v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayikra Malach Adonai el Avraham Shenit min hashamayim Vayomer Nishbati neum Adonai Ki Ya'an asher asita et hadavar hazeh velo chasachta et bincha et yechidecha ki varech evarechecha v'harbam arbem et zarecha ככוכבי השמיים וכחול אשר על שפת הים וירש זרחה את שאר אויביו והתברכו פזריך כל גויי הארץ עקב אשר שמעת בקולי וישב אברהם אל נעריו ויקום וילכו יחדיו אל באר שבע וישב אברהם Biv'er Shava.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan banu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'toteinu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. What a joy it is to work with you, Kolamites. It has been such a great, great pleasure. And we have so much appreciation for the talent and the energy and the time that you bring to this sacred calling. And I hope it brings you as much joy, each of you, as it brings to all of us. So, Yasher Koach again, and off back to your seats. And our final aliyah is on page 512. And will be read by Steve Pershing. The text speaks about the genealogy of Abraham's family. And just as an aside, it throws in mention of Rebekah, who will become Isaac's wife in a later chapter. And we know that when they married, Isaac loved Rebekah, and he was comforted for the death of his mother, who died in the aftermath of the Akedah. So the birth of Rebekah is perhaps a seed of healing from Isaac's trauma. So we'd like to invite up anyone who is in need of healing themselves from a physical or emotional experience, or anyone who is praying for healing for someone else. We offer this as an aliyah for healing and courage, whether for yourself or anyone whom you love. Come up and draw strength from those who are here and from the Torah. Yamdu kol ele shemechapsim chizuk u'refuah. All of those seeking healing and strength. La'aliyah chamishit.
Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch
atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kerbanu la'avodato, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah. Amen. ויהי אחרי הדברים האלה, ויוגד לאברהם לאמור, הנה ילדה מילכה גם היא, בנים לנחור אחיך. את עות בכורו ואת בוז אחיו, ואת כמואל אבירם. ואת כסד, ואת חזרו, ואת פילדש, ואת ידלף, ואת בתואל. ובתואל ילד את רבקה, שמונה אלה ילדה מילכה, לנחור אחי אברהם. ופילגשו ושמה ראומה, ותלת גם היא את טבח ואת כחם, ואת תחש ואת מאחש. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, נותן התורה.
Please stay here as the congregation prays for healing for you and for those who are thinking of, and for all those who are on our minds. The melody is from Will Robertson, and the words are as follows. Misha Berach Avotenu, may the one who blessed our fathers, Mekor HaChayim, source of life, Ve'imotenu, and our mothers, Hu yivarech v'yirafeh, bless and heal et hacholim, all those who are ill. El na refanala, please God, heal him and heal her.
Mishemera Avotenu Mikol HaRaim Le'imotenu Le'irapeh Et
Refuah Shlema, speedy and full healing. And while you're returning to your seats, we're going to get ready to return the Torah to the Ark. We're on page 546, and the Starins, you're on. Ya'amod hamakbiyah, please stand, our heavy lifter. Ta'amod hagolelet, please stand, our Torah wrapper and our Ark openers. Please rise in spirit or body. 1, 2, 3. Vezot HaTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe.
Noah, וקודמיו בחשאי. השיבנו אדוני אליך נשובה חדש חדש יבנו חדש יבנו
Please be seated. So the concluding section of the Rosh Hashanah liturgy has three major themes: Zichronot, memory; Malchuyot, God's presence and majesty; and Shofarot, the shofar. I sometimes call them memory, majesty, and mission. And perhaps they also correspond to past, present, and future. I guess I wonder, Joan, which of these three do you feel called toward this morning?
Well, I'm by nature called to pay attention to the present moment. And children are in the moment. So for the past 20 years, my focus has been, well, my kids have been growing up, my focus has been on the present. But I feel like I'm wanting to do more with the future, more planning, making the future that I want to see happen, and so to be more deliberate in shaping the future.
Of course, you know, children is both present and future.
That's true.
Right.
Yes.
So it's really true. So I guess I feel a lot of pull from the past, memory this year, past sort of bearing down, but also the urgency of action to make the future more bearable. I don't know, maybe I need to just stay more in the moment. I don't know. What about you folks? I'm going to ask you to take a moment to turn to somebody near you, or if you're not near anyone, to just turn inward and think, where are you in each of these dimensions? Which dimension, past, present, or future, speaks most compellingly to you today? And which dimension calls for your attention? Go for it.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
But I also think, I mean, at least for me, I think Hashanah, start the new year. And also kind of reflecting on the past year. So I think it's a combination. Yeah.
Sit down.
Oh, this way. Yeah. Okay, yeah, drain that. We're going to do this first because the kids are. I don't know if they want. So, bringing your cells back here, we're going to turn to page 612. And for Malchuyot, for that sense of being utterly present and majesty, we're going to recite the great Aleinu. The high holidays are the only time of the year when we go all the way down to the floor. When we say, V'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim, we bow and bend the knee. Some of us will try to make it all the way down to the floor and back up again. So make sure you can come back up if you go down, but we will help you if not. Page 612, if you would rise. Alleluia, Leshabeya, Ladon, Hakol, Late, Gedula, Leotzer, Bereshit, Shenatan lanu Torah temet v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu v'anachnu Ifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. We welcome some of our kinderlach, our children, kids and parents perhaps, I think. Yes, come on in. Join us for the shofar service. And I'm going to invite everyone to stay standing in body or spirit to hear the sounds of the shofar. We invite the kids to come up close. And Abe and Reese, our shofar blowers, please come on up. And Shanna Harbor, who will be giving the calls. Anyone else who has a shofar, please remain where you are, but feel free to sound the calls together. Do we have any other shofar out? All right, Jason, great. Okay, are we all together? Anybody who wants to come up close and hear shofar, please, you can sit on the steps. Come on up, come on up. Babies might want to stay a little further away. Okay. All right, so this is the day the world was made. Sing it. This is the day the world was made. This is the day the earth was born. This is the day the earth was born. Lions and tigers, ants and fish. Lions and tigers, ants and fish. Listen to the sounds of the ram's horn. Listen to the sounds of the ram's horn. All right, well, I will not be known for my composing. Here we go. We're going to recite the blessings all together on page 592. Join me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lishmoa kol shofar and shehecheyanu. That we're going to hear these sounds once again this year. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kiyimanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh.
Yasher Koach. Oh my goodness. We have some chauffeur stars born. Beautiful. Everyone, please take a seat. Oh my gosh, that was marvelous. Well, our final theme is Zichronot, memories. And we've been inviting in or allowing memories to rise during of this past year into our consciousness. And we also ask God to remember us for good in the beautiful Avinu Malkeinu prayer back on page 452.
The ark will be open, so please rise as you are able.
Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, en lanu melech ela ata.
Avinu
Avinu Malkeinu, aseh imanu leman shemecha. Avinu Malkeinu, chadesh aleinu shana tova. Our Creator, sovereign, nullify the plans of any who may seek to do us harm. Our Creator, our sovereign, grant forgiveness and atonement for all of our transgressions. Continue on your own in Hebrew or in English. Amen. Our Creator, our sovereign, is one. Avinu Malkeinu, act in honor of your great and mighty awe-inspiring name, which has been called out over us for our protection.
Avinu
Malkeinu, Chonenu Vanenu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu Vanenu, Ki en banu ma'asi. Aseh imanu, tzedaka v'chesed. Aseh imanu, tzedaka v'chesed, v'hoshi'enu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu Vanenu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu Vanenu, Ki en banu ma'asi. Please be seated. Page 674 for the hymn Hayom Hayom, Today Today.
Move it up just a touch. Hayom, 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 amen. Hayom, 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 Evakeinu, amen. Hayom, 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 Evakeinu, amen. Hayom, 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 Tirishenu Letova, amen. Hayom, 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 Tirishenu Chayim Tov. Hayom, 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 Tishma Shabbatenu, amen. Hayom, 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 Tikabla berachamim u'beratzon, et tefillatenu, amen. Hayom, 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 Tivechei b'chayim, amen. Hayom, 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 Te'amsenu, amen. Page 1260.
Mourners and those having a yortzeit today, and those wishing to remember the departed, please rise for Mourners Kaddish on page 1216. Um, okay. Yiskadal v'yiskadash Shemei Rabbah. Bialma divrach Yerusei v'yamlich malchusei v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chaye dechol beis Yisrael ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevorach li'olam u'la'omei almaya. Yisbarach v'yishtabach v'yispa'ar v'yisromam v'yisnaseh v'yishadar v'yisaleh v'yisalal shemei dekudasha brich hu le'ela le'ela mikol birchasa v'shirasa tushbechasa v'nechemasa da'amiran v'yalma v'imru amen. Yehi Shlomo Rabbah min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen.
Amen. Please be seated as I call up Maddie Cohen.
So I'm here to say a word about our CARE project, Kolami Refugee Engagement Project. Instead of doing kind of a one-off high holidays Tikkun Olam project, we're using the high holidays to kick off a year-long, maybe longer than that, effort of engaging our community with the neighbors, the new neighbors we have who are Afghan refugees. We talked a lot about love, and one of the love languages, if you've heard of the love languages, is acts of service. So we will be engaging with families who are now our new neighbors. There's an apartment complex, I think maybe 10 minutes from here, with Afghan refugees who have moved into our own community who need our help. Now, I'm paraphrasing John Adams, who said, there are only two creatures of worth in this world, those with a commitment and those who require the commitment of others. Right now, these new Afghan refugees require our commitment. So we'll be engaging with them in the coming weeks and months to help them out and help them rebuild their lives, become better members of our community. And that will be in lots of different ways. That could be taking someone to a doctor's appointment, helping someone write a resume, helping someone practice their English skills, having a play date with your kids. There's also monetary help. A lot of these folks, they are trying to get government benefits. Some of them have run out of government benefits. And so we have a donation button on the website where you can donate specifically to this project. And there's a flyer out on the table, which I encourage you to pick up to read more about this project. Also, kind of to get people in the spirit of things, we have little index cards there. And I'm going to encourage you to take one of those index cards and think about what you individually could do, whether that's, I could help somebody write their resume. I could spend an hour each week helping someone practice their English. I could drive someone to a doctor's appointment. I could help someone fill out a job application. Whatever it might be, whatever talent you have and whatever ability you have, I want you to be inspired to actually write something down. We encourage you to bring those cards back next week and we'll collect them. If you want to keep it to continue to inspire you, that's okay too. As we go along, when we have actual families lined up with who need actual tasks, we will have a more actual organized system to match people with those tasks. The cards are there for inspiration, to inspire you and to help you inspire others. So I hope you'll pick one up in one of the flyers, and I hope you will participate in Kolami's CARE project this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Maddie. So a few other announcements. Tashlich, our potluck picnic, and Tashlich is at 5:30 today at Jenny Dean Park in Arlington. It is going to be the first ever duck chow Tashlich. This is the brainchild of John Robert Johnson, who thought, you know, what is it that we could throw that is actually okay in the stream rather than archala and white bread, which is not good for really us either, but certainly not for the ducks and the birds. So we'll have duck chow on hand, and come and join us. We'll be at the Overlook, I think, at Jenny Dean Park. That's where we'll gather at 5:30, and then it's a short walk to the pavilion where there's a covered shelter, and we'll have our potluck picnic. Please do note that there is parking somewhere. Okay, I didn't get off the memo here. Jane. So it's in Sherwood, they right by the dog park. So there's parking on 4 Mile Run. There's parking on South Mill. So the other side and if I just go there, Beautiful. Thank you, Jane. We're having services tomorrow for the first time, really. First time, second day, Rosh Hashanah services. So it will be at the home of one of our members, Ruth Ann Faust. We do have room for more folks. It will be outdoors. Please talk to our coordinator or me or register online to get the address. Our Shabbat Shuvah service this Shabbat morning, we hope, will be a celebration of Rabbi Richard's ordination and his healing so far. So we will come together in great joy to celebrate Rabbi Ruth's ordination. Yom Kippur arrives next Tuesday evening. We hope you'll be with us. If you'd like to help do any kind of task, we could use help always. I want to thank Mary Kuntz and Lance Feiner, who are standing all the way at the back, for the enormous help, just doing everything with logistics. Please see them if you'd like to volunteer. And we have a break fast after Ne'ilah, and there's a sign-up genius. We'd love to have you sign up for that as well. Please bring your machzor with you to the back. That would help out. And we're going to have Kiddush in the lobby and the back patio. Great. But first, a few more thank yous. Huge thank you to our Children's Services leader, Carol Boyd-Leon, to our chauffeur blowers, Abe Friedman and Reese Harbor, and our caller, Shanna Harbor, and those who joined them, Jason and Steve from the Kahal. Much gratitude to our laners, our Torah readers, Ann Salzberg, Joan Goldfarb, Miriam Cook, and Steve Pershing, who spent a lot of time preparing for today. Thank you again to Mary and Lance, and our coordinator, Amy Medrick, who is just an amazing problem solver and coordinator. Thank you to Core Medrick for live streaming, and to the team here at the UUCA, Cameron McGee on the audio board. Thank you to everyone who volunteered to schlep books and set up Kiddush, and we just are very grateful for all that help. Do we need a few more folks, perhaps? See Mary and Lance at the back if you can stay on and help. And another huge thank you to our Kolamites, all of you, and especially to our Chazan Jim and our arranger Jason Wright, directors, amazing job. And to my co-leader, Joan, it's been amazing to work with you. Just a total pleasure to lead with you. Yasher Koach.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rabbi Gila. And it has been such a joy for me as well to get to prepare with you and to lead with you. We've had our own Elul within Elul, and I feel ready for a great year. And thank you to the whole Kol Amit community as well. I've always felt like our community is so perfectly named. Kol Amit means voice of our people. And I've always been afraid to stand up in front of people. But the support of our community and the love that you've all given me have given me the bravery and courage to do it. So thank you all.
And to do a beautiful job. That's wonderful. Beautiful. So I want to thank you and welcome all of you who are here sitting in God's house. That's the one thing we ask for, right? Psalm 27, that we can sit in God's house and appreciate the glory of being alive, being together. It's really something. We're going to close with a nostalgic Adon Olam, page 1224. Kolamites, please take us home.
Adon Olam, Hashem Allah, B'terem kol nivra, V'nasah v'chesed kol Adai Shmo Nikra, Adon Olam, Hashem Allah, B'terem kol Oh, ויהיה תפארה והובטח בשני והמשיכו להבירה ולראשית ולתכלית ולא האור והמזרח והוא אלי וחי גורלי וצוחק לי בעצה ובצרה והוא ניסי ומנוסי בינת כוסי ביום אקרא בינת כוסי ביום אקרא לבדו אבקי ברותי ונשתר והעירה ועברתי וביאתי אדוני ולא יראה אדוני אשר עליו בטרם כל ימרה כבשר והם שבו נקרא אזי מלך שבו נקרא אזי מלך שבו נקרא
Shana Tova Umituka.
Yes.
A good, sweet new year, Kolami.
Shana Tova Utuka.